Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. As Stephen said, any questions, put them in the chat, unmute yourself. I don't mind being interrupted. So just shout them out if you have any questions. But yes, the new moon, and we have a solar eclipse, is in Taurus, and it's on April 30th. So we have a couple of days before it happens. But we can do these moon circles a few days before, a few days after, really get you prepared for what's to come. So this is the second new moon of this month. So you might hear it referred to as a black moon. There's nothing like, I won't say there's something special. There's no significance to it being a black moon. It's just, that's what it's called when it's the second new moon in the same month. But it is an eclipse, and that is really important and something special. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. So for the agenda for this new moon circle, we're going to go through the astrology, a few action steps of things that you can do over the next couple of days to really bring in this energy. We'll talk about some horoscopes. We'll do a oracle card pull. We'll journal a little bit, and then we'll just have a closing meditation. So what you're going to need is, if you don't have the following yet, please get a pen, a pencil, or just anything that you'd like to write with, a journal or a piece of paper, something to write on. If you don't have anything, you can literally use a napkin, or you can type it into your phone if that's helpful for you. Any crystals you want to work with, any sage or smudge spray or Palo Santo, anything like that that you want. And then of course, any candles or incense to help you set the mood. So I'll give everyone a minute or so to gather these things if you don't have them already. If you have them gathered already, that's awesome. Just hang tight. And then we're going to get started in a second. Okay, so hopefully everyone's kind of gathered their things. If you're still gathering, that's okay. I'm just going to briefly talk about what a new moon is and how we work with it. So a new moon is the first lunar phase of a moon cycle. The sky is going to be dark. The moon is between the earth and the sun, so we don't see it. And new moons are really a time for new beginnings. How we use them is we consider them like the start of a personal cycle. It's a really good time to start new projects, manifest our goals. You can think of it as a time to plant seeds if you're a gardener and you want to work with the moon cycles. New moons are a great time to literally plant your seeds and watch them grow. So it's a good time to manifest our goals and what we want for the month ahead. All right, so since we are in an eclipse, I figured we would talk about this. Eclipse season. What is an eclipse? What's the big deal? Why is this important? So eclipses happen every 4 to 6 months, and they can either be partial or total. So a partial eclipse, a partial eclipse is going to be when it's partially obscured. So whether it's the sun or the moon is partially obscured. A total is when it's fully obscured. And during a new moon, it's always going to be a solar eclipse. During a full moon, that's when we have a lunar eclipse, which will happen, I believe, next month. But anyways, so these solar eclipses is when the moon is directly sandwiched between the earth and the sun. They are harbingers of change. You might hear them, referred to as this wild card energy. It can be very powerful, turbulent energy, especially if you're someone who doesn't like change. If you're resistant to change, eclipses are going to feel kind of uncomfortable. They really can usher in new beginnings. They can shake things up. They help to realign us with our fate. And this one in particular might be ushering in some unannounced opportunities. So it's a really good time to get yourself very clear, very focused on your intentions of who you want to be when we're done with this eclipse. What do you want your life to look like once the eclipse season is over? If you are someone who likes to have crystals and likes to charge them under the full moons and the new moons, I don't recommend charging your crystals or leaving them out during an eclipse, because you just never know what's going to happen with this energy. It is pretty unpredictable. And then if you were to work with these crystals in the future, it could just lead to results that maybe you didn't want or expect. So avoid charging your crystals or cleansing them under this moonlight. We'll hold off until the eclipses are done. It's also a really good time to give yourself some rest. So they can be very energetically draining. And it's really important that we give ourselves just a little bit of extra time and space in our schedules, one for self-care, but two, you know, if you have if you're really busy and you have like a lot of meetings, like back to back to back things, give yourself time in between those things, because you just never know what's going to happen. It's pretty unpredictable energy, and giving yourself extra time, it can kind of prevent any unnecessary anxiety on top of everything else that's going on. So that's really the gist of like what the eclipse is, what eclipses in general are about. As we move on to this Taurus new moon, remember Taurus is the sign of the bull. So it's asking us to slow down. It's asking us to be really present in our bodies. I think of the saying like a bull in a china shop, right? Like trying to be present of our body and you know, how we're using it. But also it gives us a lot of determination. Bulls can be stubborn. And the positive side of the stubbornness is that determination to really build upon what we started during Aries season. And if any of you were here during the Aries new moon, you might remember Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So, excuse me, we talked about at the Aries new moon, like really this is like a whole astrological new year. So starting like all these like New Year's things, right? Whether it's a resolution or manifestations or things that you want to manifest for the entire year. So this Taurus new moon, which is the new moon following the Aries new moon, really gives us that extra oomph to kind of build upon what we started during Aries season. It's also connected to pleasure and sensuality, and really encourages us to nurture whatever intentions we're trying to grow. If you have any Tauruses in your life, the Tauruses that I know are very bougie. They like the finer things in life. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're also very nurturing. They're just like a motherly kind of presence. So that's really what this energy kind of embodies here. The themes for this new moon include self-worth. Our values are really important right now. Material possessions, personal finances, pleasure, like I said, kind of like that, pleasure and sensuality, and then reaching out of our comfort zones, and of course, rest. So Taurus is a fixed sign that adds to its stubbornness. So with this eclipse, we can expect some like long-term changes to begin to unfold, and we'll notice this particularly around like resources or finances. So kind of pay attention to the themes that come up around our resources and our finances and our values over the next 6 months, as we kind of transition through this eclipse season. And like I said before, this is just a really good time to get clear on what you want your life to look like, what you want to look like and feel like once we're out of this transition, this eclipse transition, but also pay attention to your values and really try to live your life in alignment with them. For this Taurus new moon solar eclipse, the eclipse is ruled by Venus. So Venus is also the planet of like love and security, comfort, pleasure, sensuality. So kind of all of these things that we've been talking about, personal finances, worthiness, material possessions. Being a fixed sign, it can be very uncomfortable for change. So if you are feeling that uncomfortableness, if you're feeling that resistance, know that that's really natural during an eclipse. But we do have some positive energy coming through because the eclipse occurs close to the North Node. This could feel a little bit easier than most other eclipses in the past. It's also just like a little bit more positively focused change. And all of the 2022 eclipses take place on the Taurus-Scorpio axis. So what we can expect is a 1.5 year long focus on things that we value, but also where we derive our power from. It's good to pay attention to themes that come up now, because these are going to continue to unfold throughout the eclipse season. And due to this eclipse alignment with Uranus, it can be a little bit more unpredictable than most other eclipses. So, expect to be forced outside of your comfort zone, kind of like expect the unexpected, right? But just know that whatever kind of gets thrown at you, whatever challenges you might feel like you're going through right now, they're here to help you grow. Eclipses don't usher in change, wreak havoc for the worst, right? They're here to help us grow, to get us back on our path, really to benefit us in the future, even if it feels like things are just going crazy around us in the present. So not all of these changes need to be negative. And because where Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter are, we've got a lot of new beginnings in love. We've also got a lot of new creativity during this eclipse, which are some pretty positive things to look forward to. As you go through this new moon and eclipse, here are a few things that you can do to really embody this energy. The first one is treat yourself, right? That Taurus energy, I kind of said it before, but it really is like the bougie sign. So go out, get that those luxury sheets that you like, maybe indulge in your favorite meal that you just absolutely love, or the scented candle from Home Goods that just smells so good. Anything like that, a massage, you deserve to treat yourself every once in a while. And that little bit of self-care isn't selfish, right? It refills our cups. It can help us kind of lean into this Taurus energy, but also really just makes us feel good. Next one is to be mindful. So really making time to kind of ground yourself during this eclipse. It's going to be really important. Taurus is an earth sign, so we do want to connect with the earth and ground ourselves, which when we get to our meditation at the end, that's what we're going to be doing today. But really slow down, tune into your body, and mindfully enjoy life. So if you're treating yourself with a really good meal, mindfully eat it. And what that looks like is savoring each bite, really feeling into the flavors, enjoying the textures, just paying attention to things that you might not pay attention to when you eat normally. Or go for a walk in nature and just listen to the sounds, see all the colors, feel the trees and the plants and the flowers that are blooming, kind of really pay attention to the world around you and just be more mindful, so you can connect with the life around you. And last is make time for rest. I mentioned this before, but it is a lot of wild card energy that can get thrown your way. So now is not the time to overdo things. Now is not the time to push yourself. Instead, give yourself plenty of rest, relax when you can. It's okay to not do anything every once in a while. Really build in some extra time to your schedule so that you avoid feeling rushed, chaotic, anxious, things like that. All right, so that's it for our action steps. We're going to move on to the horoscopes for each sign. And when you are looking at your horoscope, many of you probably know your sun signs, but it's also good to look into your rising sign as well. So if you don't know that, you can plug it into a birth chart calculator. You'll just need to know where you were born, the day you were born, and what time you were born at. So those are important things in order to catch your rising sign. But if you don't know it, that's fine. Just go by your sun sign. For Aries, you might be encouraged to rethink your personal finances and spending habits. This is a good time to create a budget for yourself, really avoid overspending. We talked about Taurus being kind of bougie, treating yourself, right? For Aries, you can treat yourself, but be mindful of your budget. Maybe don't go for that $200 massage if you can't afford it, right? And of course, building security should be a priority, right? Try not to overextend yourself and stay within your means. With Taurus, this is a big new beginning and a burst of energy for you. You're going to have an increase in your confidence, which is going to be really nice. And this can help you reach your goals, right? This is a new moon that's in your sign. It really is focused for you. being an eclipse, you might have a lot of change. That's okay. If you can allow yourself to go with the flow, the change is going to be a lot easier. And this confidence boost can potentially prove useful for you, especially if you're making a good impression on the people that are in a position to influence your life, help you out, things like that. So try to pay attention to those that you meet, and use this confidence boost to help you make a good impression on them. For Gemini, we've got this eclipse is really helping you take steps towards big goals. So getting things in order, it's important that you don't rush things. I'm a Gemini. I tend to be impulsive sometimes and wanting to get things done right away, right? But making sure you take those steps, collecting all the information that you need so that you have a really good, clear perception of what you want and then the path to get it. Of course, during this time, we want to prioritize self-care and mental health. That way we have a hand on our work-life balance, right? We can, if we want something, we can go, 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 go until we get it. But it's really what we're being asked right now is don't do that. Take a step back, make sure you've got all your ducks in a row, and that you're not overdoing it or pushing yourself to that unhealthy kind of burnout level. For Cancer, you might experience an increase in your personal power and influence. So use this energy to reconnect with friends and loved ones, promote yourself, and start new relationships. This can be really important. These social, the word that I'm looking for? Basically, like meeting new people can come in really handy in your life later on, right? We never know who we're going to meet, how they can help us in the future. And embrace the social butterfly lifestyle because it can put you in a position to better achieve your goals. Next, we've got, here we go. Did that change for you guys? Yeah, next we've got Leo. So this eclipse brings changes that test your character. If you feel extra defeated, it's a really good time to reassess your goals. This is like that, if things really aren't working, there's that saying, you're not going to be able to change it by doing the same thing, right? If it's not working, you can't expect to keep doing that over again and then it just magically work. So really good time to, if you've been feeling that like just blockage, try to do things a different way. For example, if you've been thinking of changing careers, this could be something to think about. Or if you're really unhappy in your situation, think about what you can change around you to fix this. Alternatively, any time you're working on a project, try to stay focused and make sure that the work that you're putting in is quality work so that you are starting to get results and people can see, oh, this is really good. This is really good. Get that traction and take credit for that. Don't be afraid to, put your hand up and say that was me, because that's going to help you further your goals as well. For Virgo, we have a lot of expansion during this eclipse. So you really are attracting the right kind of people, the right opportunities, the right situations into your life right now. It's a good time to reflect on all of the ways that you've grown and get a clear focus on where you want to get to next. So all of this expansion's, happening for you, making sure that you pick the opportunities that are right for you. With Libra, we can expect to feel a little bit more tired during this eclipse, a little bit more drained. If you're feeling this way, don't be afraid to ask support from others, right? This is really important. Libras can tend to give without taking or nourishing themselves. So take note of this, see who's there for you, really nurture those relationships, allow yourself to be taken care of. There's also a little bit of a relation dynamic coming in with this eclipse. So pay attention to who is there for you and who isn't. The people that aren't, see where they are in your life. Do you need to have these people around? Why are they, in your life to begin with? And it's okay to kind of release the people or the things that are no longer serving you. For Scorpio, we've got a lot of relationship focus, so romantic or otherwise. It's a really good time to create harmony in your relationships, try to keep things very civil, right? You can expect to feel a lot more open with your emotions. So that's really good. You can use this time to embrace some vulnerability, share with what you're feeling, kind of get deep with those around you, and just open up to your support systems, the people in your life. For Sagittarius, this is a really good opportunity to step into your leadership potential. We want to do this through habits, our daily habits. So what this means is the things that you do every day, see how they align with your long-term goals. If you want to, for example, quit smoking, but every day you are smoking a cigarette, is that helping you quit your goals? Probably not. But if every day you are working to cut back, use nicotine patches, whatever it is, that's helping you achieve your long-term goals, right? That was just a random example that popped into my head. But paying attention to how your daily habits, how your daily routines really align with your long-term goals. Are they supporting you? Are they actually hindering you from achieving those goals? That saying, like, you can't just walk the walk, or you can't just talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. That's really what's being asked of you right now. For Capricorn, reflection is being highlighted during this new moon eclipse. So maybe looking at where things gotten too serious, and have you made time for play? This is important. In order to heal our inner child, we need to let it out. We need to let it just have some fun, let ourselves enjoy life for a minute. Especially Capricorns, who can be so career and job focused, right? So definitely spend some time doing something that brings you joy. It could be connecting with friends. It could be starting a hobby. It could be dancing. It could be getting on a swing set, just doing something fun. With Aquarius, we use this eclipse to work towards building the secure home that you desire. So all about home and our sacred space. Of course, we want to grow, but sometimes in order to do this, we really need to let go of things to help us flourish. If you think of like a garden, right? We want our plants to grow, but what do we usually have to do in order for them to grow better is to cut them back. Same thing with our hair, right? We want our hair to grow. We have to trim off the dead ends. So kind of treating this new moon and this eclipse as letting go of what you need to in order to grow a very secure home for you and secure just life that you feel comfortable in. And then lastly, we have Pisces. So this is a really good time to work on your communication, especially your thoughts and your dreams during this eclipse. So being able to share your visions with others and use this time as inspiration, but also to nurture your passions. So if you had during the Aries new moon set up, your goals for the next year, this is a really good time to voice those and share them and start working on some projects to help you achieve those goals. And it's really your time to share your gifts with those around you. So that is it for our horoscopes. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, you can unmute yourself or put them in the chat. If not, I'm going to move on. So next we have our card pull, and I chose the Starseed Oracle, which for those of you who can see in my camera, this is the box that it comes in. I chose this one today because I just felt like with this eclipse season, it's just such a celestial moment, and the Starseed Oracle is all about starseeds are believed to be our spirits, so we come from different planets and we're all from different solar systems and things like that. So I just thought that this would be appropriate for the eclipse. And it's an oracle card deck, so it's not a tarot card deck, but it works the same way. It acts as a mirror for what's going on in our lives and in the world. It can help provide some guidance or clarity in our lives. So really what I'm doing is I'm just shuffling these cards, and as I shuffle, I'm kind of asking what do we need to know for this moon cycle and this eclipse? What can guide us through this? And how can we use this energy over the next couple of days / the next cycle for our benefit? Okay, well, we pulled the card Earthed. This is probably the most Taurus card in this deck. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. But not of it, excuse me. So, Earthed. Here, I'm going to read the description for the card. So the challenge for all souls having a human experience is to be in the world, but not of it. To realize they are souls having a human experience and be fully conscious of it. To have their soul fully embody their body. People's personalities tend to relate to either transcendence or immanence. Those who lean towards transcendence have a longing for the heavens and the metaphysical. They yearn for a personal experience with God and to be lost in the heavens. They're envious of the angels and are more comfortable praying and hanging out in the stars than on earth. Those who tend towards immanence have attached themselves more to earth and their body. They spend more time thinking about things in this physical world rather than connecting with the heavens or their own mystical inner worlds. Being a fully embodied soul, having a human experience, means finding the balance between transcendence and immanence, being in the world but not of it. Most starseeds are drawn toward transcendence. They're more comfortable with the angels and the heavens. Life on earth can be more difficult for them. If this is you, you are being reminded that you chose to be a soul in a body on earth, and you're being called to focus more of your energies in the physical world, to learn how to be human, a soul in a human body, fully present to what life on earth has to offer. I love this for Taurus because it's really reminding us to connect with the earth. And like I said before, our meditation today is actually going to be a grounding meditation. So it all just fits in really, really nicely. Okay, so next we've got our journals, our journaling prompts. So what I would like for everyone to do is take out your journals, take out your pens, and I'm actually going to set a timer for these. We'll discuss them first, but we'll set a 5-minute timer for each one. And I'm going to mute myself while you guys are writing just so that there's no distractions if my dog barks or anything like that. But the first one is about our values. So typically during a new moon, we would manifest, right? If you've been coming to these circles, you know that usually one of these journal prompts is to manifest what we want to manifest for the next moon cycle. But because we're in an eclipse, we don't want to manifest. It's just too much chaotic energy. You never know what's going to happen. We manifest last month. It's okay if you didn't, but this month we're kind of focus on some other topics and journal around that, so that we're not asking for something and then getting some wild card response to it that maybe wasn't exactly what we wanted, right? So the first prompt is about our values, and we talked about this a lot. The energy for this new moon and for this eclipse is really asking us to figure out what we value most, and get really clear on that. So the journal prompt is to write down what are 3 things that you value most in life right now. This could be things like your family, this could be your career, this could be money. You know, there's so many different things that you can value. It can be love, it can be sunshine, the outdoors, who knows. But write down 3 things that you value the most. And once you write those down, think about what you've learned over your values in the last 2 years. So since 2020, you know, what's changed? What are the things that you valued in 2020? You know, the last couple of years have been very eye-opening to a lot of people, in terms of what we value, how we want to be treated, all that kind of good stuff. So see what's changed since then. And your last question is, how can you embody these values more over the next moon cycle? So if you value the outdoors and the sunshine, how can you embody this more? Can you make a plan to go outside and get some sunshine every single day? How can you bring that sunshine into your life more? Things like that. So I'm going to set a timer. I'll give us 5 minutes. And let's see. Oops. All right. I've got it set. I'm going to mute myself. You guys can go ahead and start writing. Finish up your last sentence or 2. So typically we share our manifestations because saying them out loud can help increase their power, but that doesn't mean that we can't share any of these journal prompts either. So if anyone would like to share, maybe about like their values or how they've changed, or even just some things that bring them joy, you can go ahead. You can either type it in the chat or unmute yourself if you'd like. Of course, you don't have to, but if you want to and would enjoy doing it, you can go ahead. Okay. It doesn't seem like anyone wants to share out loud. That's fine. If you are typing, oh, perfect. A restful mind. Oh, I love that. That's so nice, right? It's really nice to have a calm and peaceful mind, especially with all of the anxiety and worry that the past 2 years have kind of brought. Thank you for sharing. I value my freedom. New freedom and independence. Ooh, I love that. That's a good one. Independence has definitely been a theme in my life the past couple of years. So I love that for you. It's really powerful to feel independent and free. Thank you for sharing. If anyone else wants to share, by all means, keep typing in the chat. I don't want to cut anyone off. I'm just gonna, as you're typing, I'm just gonna talk about what we're gonna do next. So the next thing we have is the meditation. And like I said, it's gonna be a grounding meditation. It's not super long, it's just a few minutes, but it's really gonna help us ground our energy down, hopefully give us a restful mind, and be able to embrace the Taurus connection to the earth. So if you are ready, go ahead and get a comfortable seat. If you would prefer to lie down, that is totally fine. By all means, go ahead and lay down. And what we're going to do is focus on, like I said, grounding ourselves. So if you're seated, you're going to be using your mind to kind of focus on your feet. But if you're laying down, it's really going to focus on just your back and your connection to whatever you're laying on, whether it's the floor or a bed or a couch or anything like that. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable. I'll give everyone like a second or two to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is I want everyone to close their eyes. If you're seated, just, straighten out your back, kind of relax your shoulders and your arms. If you're laying down, try to relax the rest of your body. Let everything kind of sink into the floor. And with our eyes closed, let's just turn our attention to our breath. Not yet manipulating it, not changing it in any way, just turning our attention to our inhales and our exhales. And as we exhale, relaxing just a little bit more each time. If any thoughts pop into your head during this meditation, just acknowledge them and let them go. Keep focusing on your breathing. This time I want us to place some emphasis on our exhale. So as we breathe in, we are going to aim for a longer exhale than our inhale. If you prefer to count, I recommend doing a count of 5 for your inhale and a count of 6 for your exhale. Spend the next few moments just creating some longer exhales. Turn your focus to your feet if you're sitting, or if you're laying down, you can use the base of your tailbone. And as you breathe, picture a cord extending from your feet or your tailbone down into the center of the earth. As this cord extends down into the center of the earth, feel that connection with the earth. Feel the energy transferring from you into the earth and the earth into you. You might even picture a beautiful white light energy flowing down that cord. This is the energy that is grounding you. It's connecting you to the earth, all of its healing powers that we can gain from the earth. And now I want you to picture another cord that spirals around this cord, again, connecting you to the earth. And through this spiral cord, I want you to send any resistance, any negative feelings, lower vibration, thoughts, emotions, send all of that down through this spiral cord into the earth. Letting go of what's no longer serving you. And as all of this energy, this lower vibration frequencies go down into the earth, trust that the earth, with its amazing healing powers, can take this energy and work with it and transform it into something more positive, really raise its frequency. And as you let go of all this energy, that cord that is straight, that's running from you to the earth, picture this beautiful, high frequency, loving energy, maybe some white light or golden light energy coming from the center of the earth up through this cord into your feet, into the base of your tailbone. Picture this energy just activating all of your chakras, encasing you in this beautiful white light healing energy. As you're here, just sit with this energy flowing around you, totally encompassing you. Filling all the spaces where you just drew out those lower frequency vibrations, filling all of those gaps with this beautiful white light healing energy. Sending this energy to anywhere in your body you feel tension or resistance. allowing yourself to just bask in this beautiful white light energy. Turning your attention back to your breath. We're going to go back to that pattern of breathing, longer exhales. So inhale for a count of 5 and exhale for a count of 6. Feeling your heart rate slow, grounding yourself in this energy that you just scooped up from the earth and incorporated into your being. Allowing this connection to ground you and support you. And together, we're going to take a nice inhale in through our nose, holding it at the top, and then sighing it out through our mouth. We're going to do this 2 more times. Nice big inhale through your nose, holding it at the top, sighing it out through our mouth. Last one, inhale through your nose, holding it at the top. And this time, as you sigh it out your mouth, shaking out any little bit of stagnant energy resistance that you might feel. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Thank you all so much for coming and for being here and taking the time out of your day to do this with me and celebrate this new moon in Taurus and this solar eclipse. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask it. But again, thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you for an excellent presentation, and thank you everyone for zooming in. And I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.